I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I really don't know how to start off this reading vlog, but all I'm gonna say, this is going to be a cozy reading vlog. And also, welcome to the Cheyenne Show. I have been MIA, y'all, here on YouTube with the longer vlogs, but I promise I'm trying to get back on my grind. My goal this year is to film at least 20 reading vlogs by the end of the year. So this will be the first reading vlog of 2026. I'm so proud of myself. I was supposed to have a reading vlog already out. This was originally supposed to be the second vlog, but I just couldn't get around to the first vlog. Me and January have been tussling a bit, and the first 2 weeks of January, I was doing other stuff, but I have read, and you can follow me on Fable and TikTok if you want to see what I'm reading in real time. And also here on YouTube Shorts. I do post occasionally on YouTube Shorts. Like I said in the intro, this is going to be a very cozy reading vlog, nothing crazy. I have 2 books that I want to showcase in this reading vlog, hopefully that I can get to, and let's just talk about them. So the first book that I'm going to be introducing in this reading vlog is Discontent by Beatriz Serrano. This is this author's debut novel. So I gave each month its own reading theme, and January's reading theme was New Beginnings. So I'm basically reading new authors, their debut novels, reading first books in the series and stuff like that. So in this reading vlog, both books I'm going to be reading are both debut authors and their debut novels. I'm very excited to get into Discontent. This is supposed to be how do you call it? I don't know. Dark, funny book? Something like that. What do you call those books? I don't know. Is it here? Anyways, it's supposed to be like a dark humor book novel. And so let me just read you the synopsis while I'm here. It says, on the surface, Marissa's life looks inevitable. She lives in a beautiful apartment in the center of Madrid. She has a hot neighbor who is always around to sleep with her, and she's risen through the ranks at a successful advertising agency. And yet she's drowning in a dark hole of existential dread induced by the banality of corporate life. Marissa hates her job and everyone at it. She spends her working hours locked in her office, hiding from her coworkers, binging YouTube videos, and getting high on tranquilizers. When she has the time, she goes on absurdly long lunch breaks or escapes to her favorite museum where she contemplates the meaning of life while staring at paintings. But Marissa's dubious success, which is largely built on lies and work she's stolen from other people, is in danger of being revealed when she's forced to go on her company's team-building retreat. Isolated in the forest, surrounded by psychopathic bosses, overzealous coworkers, flirty retreat staff, and an excess of drugs, Marissa finds her carefully crafted office persona beginning to crack. Yeah, it's very short. It's only 5 hours long. It's 180 pages. So I should be able to finish this in 2 days, hopefully. But the next book that I'll be featuring in this reading vlog is Neighbors and Other Stories by Diane Oliver. It's a collection of short stories, and it is short stories that navigate the day-to-day perils of Jim Crow in America. I felt like this was a perfect read to read now, especially with where society is and with this wacko administration. And I just feel like we're taking steps back. We're not taking steps forward. And it's getting crazy. And so this book follows various characters as they navigate the day-to-day perils of Jim Crow in America. And it's first and only collection by a masterful storyteller, finally taking her rightful place in the canon of 20th century African American literature. Oliver's insightful stories reverberate into present day. I bet they will. There's the nightmarish The Closet on the Top Floor, in which Winifred, the first Black student at her newly integrated college, starts to physically disappear. Then we have mint juleps not served here, while a couple living deep in a forest with their son go to bloody lengths to protect him. Then we have Spiders Cry Without Tears, in which a couple, Meg and Walt, are confronted by prejudices and strains of interracial and extramarital love, and the high tension tutler that follows a nervous older sister and the night before little brother is set to desegregate his school. So I'm very excited to get into this book. Both of these books I'm going to be doing like a tandem read where I'll be listening to the Audible and also reading the book. I have my Libby loans ready for them. So I think I'm going to start off first with Discontent, because that Libby loan actually took quite some time for me to get, whereas Neighbor and Other Stories, they had multiple copies available. So we'll start off with Discontent and we'll end with Neighbors and Other Stories. So let's just get right into this cozy reading vlog. Discontent, as you guys know, and literally I'm like finding myself tabbing every single page. This book is so relatable on so many levels. It's not even funny. I literally am telling myself, I cannot tap every page. There's a point in the book where she says, so basically the main character, she works in a corporate setting, and me as someone who works a 9 to 5, not in a company in corporate, but it's not like corporate like she's doing, but I am healthcare corporate. And she says the office game consists of knowing how to express yourself, to preparing an Excel or making a presentation as if you're talking about an open heart surgery, to draw out an explanation with boring details so people lose the thread and don't ask questions when you finished. She's just basically talking about how sometimes you'll have a group meeting and your manager wants to know what everybody's doing, and maybe you haven't been doing anything or you're not done. So you say preparing an Excel so that they can't ask any more questions. This book is so relatable on so many levels. There's so many things that she has said that I can relate to as working in corporate, have a 9 to 5. I have to find the other part. Let me see. So her friend is talking to her. He was telling her, hey, you look really tired. You look worn out. And she was just like agreeing, yeah, she looks like that. And then he was like, maybe you should go on a vacation. And he was like, when's the last time you had a vacation? And she's like, vacations are like putting a Band-Aid on an axe wound. You go to places where you'll never be able to live, experience a lifestyle you can't afford, and then come back and see on the news they're talking about post-vacation syndrome, when really what they should say is your life is horrible, that you get depressed when you have to return after 2 weeks of fantasy. Y'all, if you cannot relate, I know people can relate to that. Like, you go on vacation, you're experiencing something that you may not be able to afford right now. And so when you come back from that vacation, you're like, oh, your life is just like, even when I just take a vacation and go to the beach, that's how I feel. And when I come back home, this book is just relatable on so many levels. I'm not putting that back up. Alrighty guys, I'm back and I am halfway through Discontent. Y'all, from the previous clips, you should already know how relatable I find this book, how much I am just enjoying this book, how much I can relate. So we follow the main character, Marisa, and she does not like her job. She works in marketing. She doesn't like the 9 to 5. She doesn't like the corporate life. And she just hates her job so much. And we get a lot of her inner thought dialogue, which I absolutely adore, because I'm like, we the same person? Because those are the same thoughts I be having sometimes at my 9 to 5. She's funny. And it's also kind of sad because sometimes I think, how do I explain this? Sometimes I think, is there not anything more outside my 9 to 5? Like, is that going to be my whole entire life until I retire? And that is some people's entire life. And I just feel like for me, I don't want that. I don't want to be 60 and all I had for myself was working on 9 to 5. I want to go do things. I want to travel. I want to pursue my dreams, which I am doing now, filming videos about me talking about books. I feel like sometimes this book puts me in a really bad attitude about work, and I'm just like, work? We're at the halfway mark. A lot of it was just really getting to know Marisa and what she's thinking and why she doesn't like her job and how she's just overall really discontent. I see why the book is named Discontent. And like I said, so many relatable aspects. I'm just going to choose a few because if I talk about all the pages I tapped, we will be here forever. So in this section, one of the coworker girls had gotten pregnant, and then another coworker of Marisa's, she was pissed off that the girl got pregnant. You will see that in corporate, like, people get pissed off when women get pregnant. I'm going to read from the book. She says, afterward, another cycle begins. The mommy returns and the joy evaporates. If she doesn't accomplish enough, she gets called out. No one cares about her major life change, and they just want her to get back to who she used to be as soon as possible. I was like, that is so realistic, because when a woman tells her coworkers and everyone at her job that she is pregnant, everyone's happy, they're throwing a baby shower and stuff, and then when she comes back, they expect her to just jump right back in and be the woman she was before she had the baby. No, I feel like a lot of companies just dehumanize us and think we're robots. And in this book, Marisa, she had broken she had sprained her ankle and she was working 2 jobs, and one of the jobs asked her, how long did the doctor say you have to be off your foot before you can come back? Like, not like, how are you okay, take the time you need. I just feel like we're living in a society and corporate where everything has to be fast and it's all about meeting deadlines. I'm not a robot. I am a human being. And I just want to see if I can find that part where she says, as soon as I realized that most people at my job dehumanized me, it made me easier to dehumanize them. I was so relatable. And don't get me wrong, I have been blessed to work at 2 fabulous jobs where I don't feel like they dehumanize me, but I have heard horror stories about other jobs where people have been dehumanized, where jobs just think you're a robot to do the work. And you guys would have to read this for yourself, especially if you work a 9-to-5, especially if you work in corporate America. All I can say is you would relate so much to this book. You would relate. I am having an amazing time with Discontent, and even at the halfway mark, I would just honestly recommend this to someone. This is such a good book for a debut. I'm loving it. As of right now, I'm gonna say prediction, possibly 5 stars. I'm feeling like it's 5 stars. If the book ended right here, it would be 5 stars just because of how relatable it is. But we are getting now to the plot. And the thing about Marissa is that she doesn't like to do any work at all. Like when she gets to her office, she will sit and watch YouTube videos and pass off work to people who are below her. And she's a teacher for these kids that are in a master's class, and she has a work project and she passed it off to them for them to do. And then when they give her back like breathed in the project, she will say it's her work. And I was like, girl, reminiscent of Yellowface by R.F. Kuang. But she's actually going to end up going on a retreat with all her coworkers, and that's going to be, I feel like, the big issue, because she won't be able to just pass off her work to anyone. Now it's going to be up to her and show her worth. But I feel like she can show up and show her work because there was a incident and situation in the book, and she was just able to think off the top of her head and find a solution. But the smile on my face should tell you enough that I'm really enjoying this book. And I'm trying to see if there's anything else I want to say. There's just so much to say, y'all. I think I'm going to be done yapping right now for the halfway mark. And I will come back when I've officially finished Discontent, and I will give you my final thoughts. Because honestly, I can't think about anything else I want to say. It's just, if you take anything away from the section, this middle part is that this book is totally relatable. That's all you should take away. But anyways, I will see you guys when I'm done with this book. Alrighty, y'all. So I've officially finished Discontent by Beatriz Serrano, and this was such a unhinged, relatable book. And I don't think I've ever read such a book that was so relatable that I was literally tapping every page because I was like, I can relate. The ending of this book, I will say, was weird, unhinged, but fitting to the character because what happened to her in the end is something that she's always wanted to happen to her, what she thought about would happen to her. So I feel like the ending was very fitting for the character. Short, quick read, absolutely loved it. I believe I rated this, I don't know. Let me go back on Fable. You can follow me on Fable to see what I'm reading in real time always. So follow your girl there or on TikTok too. But let me see what I rated this book. I want to say that's like 4.75 stars. This was just a weird book, but I liked it. I really did like it. I would definitely recommend this book to anybody who likes dark, humored books, satirical books, or just looking for a book to get them really out of their comfort zone. This is it. With that being said, this was a success. I love this book. I will always recommend this book to people just to get them out of their comfort zones. So thank you for tuning into this reading vlog, and thank you for tuning in my channel. Make sure you hit that like button and subscribe button, and I will see you guys next time. Peace.